Astronomy is the scientific study of celestial objects and phenomena that originate outside Earth's atmosphere. It explores the universe beyond our planet, encompassing everything from planets and stars to galaxies, black holes, and the very structure of the cosmos.
Directions. Now listen to a part of a talk in an astronomy class. Although many supernova explosions in our own galaxy have gone unnoticed, a few were so spectacular that they were clearly seen and recorded by sky watchers and historians at the time. We can use these records, going back 2,000 years, to help us pinpoint where the exploding stars were and thus where to look for their remnants today. The most dramatic supernova was observed in the year 1006. It appeared in May as a brilliant point of light visible during the daytime, perhaps 100 times brighter than the planet Venus. It was bright enough to cast shadows on the ground during the night and was recorded with amazement and fear by observers all over Europe and Asia. No one had seen anything like it before. Astronomers David Clark and Richard Stevenson have looked through records from around the world to find more than 20 reports of the 1006 supernova. This has allowed them to determine with some accuracy where in the sky the explosion occurred. They place it in the modern constellation of Lupus. At roughly the position they have determined, we find a supernova remnant, now quite faint. From the way its materials are expanding, it indeed appears to be about 1,000 years old. Question: what is the lecture mainly about? What is implied by the professor about supernovas? Directions. Now listen to a part of a talk in an astronomy class. An association is a group of extremely young stars, typically containing 5 to 50 hot, bright stars scattered over a region of space some 100 to 500 light-years in diameter. As an example, most of the stars in the constellation Orion form one of the nearest stellar associations. Associations also contain hundreds to thousands of low-mass stars, but these are much harder to see. The presence of really hot and bright stars indicates that star formation in the association has occurred in the last million years or so. Since O stars, stars that are over 1,000,000 times brighter than our own sun, go through their entire lives in only about 1,000,000 years, they would not still be around unless star formation occurred recently. It is therefore not surprising that associations are found in regions rich in the gas and dust required to form new stars. It's like a brand new building still surrounded by some of the construction materials used to build it, and with the landscape still showing signs of construction. Question: what is the professor implying when she says this? It's like a brand new building still surrounded by some of the construction materials used to build it, and with the landscape still showing signs of construction. What are O stars? Directions. Now listen to a part of a talk in an astronomy class. Now, a supernova is basically when a star explodes. It occurs during the last stage of a star's life and usually only occurs in large stars like white dwarfs. While these stellar explosions may appear beautiful to spectators on Earth, they also have terrible consequences for nearby stars and planets. Now, suppose a life form has the misfortune to develop around a star that happens to lie near a massive star destined to become a supernova. Such life forms may find themselves extinct when the harsh radiation and high energy particles from the neighboring star's explosion reach their world. Life may well have formed around a number of pleasantly stable stars, only to be wiped out because a massive nearby star suddenly went supernova. Just as children born in a war zone may find themselves the unjust victims of their violent neighborhood, life too close to a star that goes supernova may fall prey to having been born in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, what is a safe distance to be from a supernova explosion? Now, a lot depends on the violence of the particular explosion, what type of supernova it is, and what level of destruction we are willing to accept. Calculations suggest that a supernova less than 50 light-years away from us would certainly end all life on Earth, and that even 100 light-years away would have drastic consequences for the radiation levels here. One minor extinction of sea creatures about 2 million years ago on Earth may actually have been caused by a supernova at a distance of about 120 light-years. Now, the good news is that there are at present no massive stars that promise to become supernova within 50 light-years of the Sun. Question: according to the professor, what may have caused the extinction of sea creatures about 2 million years ago? Why does the professor say this? Just as children born in a war zone may find themselves the unjust victims of their violent neighborhood, life too close to a star that goes supernova may fall prey to having been born in the wrong place at the wrong time. Directions. Now listen to a part of a talk in an astronomy class. Born in 1910 in India, Subramanian Chandrasekhar, known as Chandra to his friends and colleagues, grew up in a home that encouraged scholarship and an interest in science. His uncle, C.V. Raman, was a physicist who won the 1930 Nobel Prize. As a precocious student, Chandra tried to read as much as he could about the latest ideas in physics and astronomy, although obtaining technical books was not easy in India at the time. He finished college at age 19 and won a scholarship to study in England. It was during the long boat voyage to get to graduate school that he first began doing calculations about the structure of white dwarf stars. Chandra developed his ideas during and after his studies as a graduate student, showing that white dwarfs with masses greater than 1.4 times the mass of the Sun cannot exist. His calculations soon brought him into conflict with certain distinguished astronomers, including Sir Arthur Eddington, who publicly ridiculed Chandra's ideas. At a number of meetings of astronomers, such leaders in the field as Henry Norris Russell refused to give Chandra the opportunity to defend his ideas, while allowing his more senior critics lots of time to criticize them. Yet Chandra persevered, writing books and articles about his theories, which turned out not only to be correct, but to lay the foundation for much of our modern understanding of the death of stars. In 1983, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics for this early work. Question: why does the professor mention other astronomers such as Sir Arthur Eddington and Henry Norris Russell? Why does the professor say this? In 1983, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics for this early work. Directions. Now listen to a part of a talk in an astronomy class. Most stars end their lives as stars known as white dwarfs or neutron stars. Now, when a very massive star ends its life, not even the repulsion between densely packed neutrons can support the core against its own weight. If the remaining mass of the star's core is more than about 3 times that of the Sun, scientific theory predicts that no known force can stop it from collapsing forever. Gravity simply overwhelms all other forces and crushes the middle of the star until it occupies a small area. Now, a star in which this occurs may become one of the strangest objects ever predicted by theory, a black hole. To understand what a black hole is like and how it influences its surroundings, we need a theory that can describe the action of gravity under such extreme circumstances. To date, our best theory of gravity is the general theory of relativity, which was put forward in 1916 by Albert Einstein. Question: what does the professor imply about black holes? Why does the professor say this? Now, when a very massive star ends its life, not even the repulsion between densely packed neutrons can support the core against its own weight.